Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to talk about the console command and how you can use it to kind of shape your clan, right? So if you've played like Iron Triangle from, I don't know how long ago that was now, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago I think, Nobunagas Ambition, Iron Triangle. If you played any other games that have like a technology tab where you can kind of get special unique commands and abilities and stuff like that, here's where you're going to get it in the console phase, or the console step. So to first start off, you're going to hit square. If you're on PlayStation, you're going to go down to console, you're going to start it off, and you're going to go to policies. Now out of this whole list right here that you see, policy is the most important one, okay? And I'm going to cover the main two, and then after that, like I said, if finish the rest of the video later if you don't have the time. But the main two that I'm going to cover, the most important two, I'm going to hit those up first, okay? Oh, and before I go on any further, let me just say, if you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave me a like down below after the video so we can move up in the algorithm, you know, all that jazz. More importantly, leave me a comment and let me know if there's anything that I missed, if there's anything that, you know, anything that we can add it all to the conversation so people can find it, right? Because this information is a little bit hard to find in these Koei games. Stuff is buried in menus, tons and tons of menus, right? So if there's anything that I missed or whatever, you know. So yeah, with that said, okay, so let's start. So policy is the first one. The second one's going to be honor commendation, right? So policies, like I said, are a lot like tech in any game. They allow you to buy and unlock new commands, get discounts on certain things, improve other things. I mean, it's just like researching in any game. It's essential. Right, now you can hit L2 and go through this, skim through this stuff here. There's a lot of good stuff here on this one. A lot of the time there isn't, but I'm going to show you the ones that you need, right? So just looking at it from the beginning, if we take system reform, right, it's got 1 star out of 3. So you can upgrade it a total of 3 times. Some of these can be upgraded more than 3 times, okay? Irrigation maintenance can be upgraded 5 times. Defense infrastructure can be upgraded 5 times. It just depends, right? You're gonna see if it's grayed out. If it's grayed out, you don't meet the requirement yet. If you look towards the right there, you can see in the red why you can't meet that requirement. A lot of the later on policies only unlock after you've already gotten a few of the starter ones. So even though it's arranged kind of poorly, and like this page like this, it really should be arranged kind of like a Civilization video game. You know, Sid Meier's Civilization, where you can see the web of policies and what they lead towards. It's not, unfortunately, but think of it that way. So a lot of these you need other things. Some of them you need specific officers. Some officers will unlock specific policies. So I'll show you guys for example. That's what the golden scroll is, by the way. If you see a golden scroll, you're getting it. Usually it means that it's a specific unique policy that a specific officer is giving you. Usually it's a clan policy. So for example, we're playing as the Azai, right? So if I go to look at my officers here, hang on. We have Way of the Azai. My Daimyo's got it. Enables the issuance of the straight and narrow, or decreases its upkeep. So a couple of my Nagamasa is going to have it. Sometimes your retainers have it as well. The Oda, for example, they have the Way of the Oda that gives them a specific policy. Now, if you get an Oda officer on your team, you know, if you get, because you know, not everybody from the same family gets along all the time. Okay, if you've been to a cookout, you know that. If you know, so if you can get somebody from their team, you will have access to a unique policy. It'll give you access to that. Sometimes that's worth considering, you know, if you can remember it, because there's so much going on, right? So a golden scroll, unique policy. 3 levels to each policy. The cost associated with the policy is right there. It says it's 70, straight and narrow costs 70 per month. Now there's a discount because we already have it. And because I already have it unlocked and I have another officer who also has it, you get a discount. I don't know if that works with every unique policy, but I'm assuming that it does. So if I have Nobunaga Oda, and I have his brother, what's his name, Nobuyusuke? If I have Nobunaga Oda, I unlock the Oda policy. And if I have his brother, he also has the policy. So you should get a discount on top of it where it's a little bit cheaper. And you can see that under your officer when you go under it, right? So each policy has a policy cost. All you have to do is press the button. You know, whichever one you want to research. You press it, it let you pick whoever you want, which I can't press it right now because I don't, oh here, okay, I can start this one. So you pick it, you choose who to execute it. Now the only way to speed this up is if you have a character who has a trait that has anything to do with this, with 100 poems trait, that'll pick it up. Otherwise, if you have a, you know, you're high enough stat, you'll get a slight discount. So it'll show you there on the right, the policy, it'll say it's going to cost 100, and you can see that the days are shortened slightly. Just slightly. You can assign, confirm, and it'll show you one last time. Are you sure you want to get this? How long it's going to take? What you unlock, right? So it's pretty straightforward. Once you start it, it'll keep going until it's finished. The thing about these policies is that you want to be able to afford them, okay? The game will suspend your policies if you can't afford them on your balance sheet. And your balance sheet's right up there. So do not get policies until you get your commerce going. You know, only get one or two, and everyone's situation is going to be different because of your starting position, how much gold you have, etc., right? But don't get into this position. I've done this, and not just this game, a lot of games where you're trying to unlock and research so many different things that you have a negative balance, or that your balance is just pitiful. You're not making enough money to do anything with it, right? So usually I won't do a policy unless if I'm right, like right now I'm at 800. I won't do a policy if it's gonna cost me more than 200. I just won't do it because I have at 800 I'm close enough to where I can use covert operations, where I can search, blah blah blah. I'll only put myself in the hole, so to speak, if I know I'm just gonna be sitting around for a while and there's nothing else to do. Then okay, there's nothing else to do. I'm not gonna go to war. I'm not going to search. I don't have anything, which is pretty rare. I mean, I don't even think that's happened to me yet, but let's say it did. Then maybe I do that. But I really don't recommend doing policies if it's going to really hurt your bottom line for a while. Even if it's only, like I said, the starter ones are very quick, 30 days. But as you move on, they're going to get a little bit longer. They get up to 90 days, 120 days. That's 3 months, 4 months. So watch the term, how long it takes you to finish them. Now the game has you set up so that you get the fast ones, you know, so that it kind of has a starter pack, like I said, even though it's not a raid very well. The ones to get right away, okay? Let's talk about which ones to get right away. The ones to get right away are System Reform, first one and the second one, Defense Infrastructure. Now these, situationally speaking, this is gonna vary, right? And Bodyguard Formation, which I didn't get because I didn't realize how crazy it was until just recently. Okay, those are the ones that I recommend to start getting. Now you might have a special clan one, you know, that's gonna be, I don't know, that's gonna be a judgment thing. For me, straight and narrow makes sense for me to get. Yours might make sense too. I'm assuming the unique clan ones are probably so good that you don't want to pass on them anyway. The green scrolls are usually very situational. So if you see a policy that's a green scroll, it's kind of, it's usually like, it usually has like a strange requirement. Okay, so for example, a temple donation, it gives me some pretty interesting bonuses, but one of the requirements is that I have a temple built. And in order to have a temple built, you have to build all the little territories in the county, and there has to be a temple that can be recommended to you to be built. So every time you fill out a territory, I think I need to cover this actually in another video, like a more advanced building video. So I'll probably do that later. But when you fill out all the spaces, you will get a recommendation to build a special building on top of that. So for me, that was a temple. And once I built the temple, now I can get this temple donation policy, which I can unlock and upgrade. Okay. Another thing too is you can see the levels of your next effect right on there. Okay, so you can see how it's going to go up. Just tab over, and you can see, okay, at 100 it unlocks the castle town plan. Once I spend 200 a month and I get it to level 2, now I've unlocked castle town plan command, and I can enable construction, and I can enable the landowner change and all that stuff. Okay, so you can see how it improves before you ever start paying for one of them. Look at the whole branch, compare it. Does it make sense for you to get? Now the reason to get system reform 1 and 2 is because they both unlock crucial command buttons. You have buttons that you can't even use until you get these two. Okay, you need castle town plan. Castle town plan basically lets your lord build stuff around the castle town. You know, enough said, without you having to spend money out of his own pocket. So it's the same effect as of giving land, but it allows you to do it for the castle. So now those big castle structures, the irrigation, the training grounds that you're building, the musket academies that you're building, those will be free. It's out of your lord's pocket now. So that's really important. It also lets you change landholders. That's very important as well. You're going to get these guys who are going to want specific lands. You're going to want to shuffle your deck around because it affects how your army marches. Okay, I'm going to cover marching armies pretty soon, but I'm trying to get all the economic basics out of the way. System reform 2, you're going to want it because of defensive base. Defensive base tries to let you, exactly what it sounds, turn your base into more of a defensive fortress, and it lets you send troops over instantly towards that base. So you can pick a base and you say, this base is the front of the line, it's going to stop the invasions coming from this region, I'm going to make this the defensive base. It also enables you to do sieges. So you can personally command a siege, whether you're there or not. That's crucial. One of the things I always say is take control of your battles. Always, as much as you're able to. Send your daimyo everywhere if you can. Well, this lets you personally command the defenses whether he's there or not. So another thing. Defensive infrastructure, now we're getting into the more expensive ones. So I would get these two right away because they're only 100 and they're very quick. Well, system reform 1 is not so quick, but you have to get it. You just need it. Okay. I would get these two. Then I would look at defense infrastructure or bodyguard formation. You want to get both. You know, the only way you don't get bodyguard formation is if you really couldn't care less about honor. Which to me sounds crazy, but I'm playing as a small force. If you're playing as the Takeda, you know, the Uesugi, maybe you have enough officers already set up to where you don't need honor. That's the only situation where I would say don't get bodyguard formation. If you're a smaller force, you definitely need to consider bodyguard formation because it gives you passive honor. It just increases the amount of honor that your chiefs acquire and your substitutes. So it helps you get them off the ground faster. You need honor so that your officers need honor so they can move up in your standings, in your rankings. They get higher ranks, they can hold more soldiers, they can do more things for you. You don't want an officer that's great like Nagamasa, who just joined me at 16, but because he's inexperienced, his rank is lower than where I'd like it to be. So you might get a great officer, but you can't appoint him as a lord, even though he'd be great to run a castle. You can't give him command of a ton of troops because his rank isn't high enough. Bodyguard formation helps you get your new officers, get them honor just for existing. Okay. Defense infrastructure is pretty straightforward. 800 HP and restoration speed. Restoration speed is whatever, but the 800 extra HP can be huge for allowing you to just hold the spot that much longer. You hold the spot forever, okay, and that way it gives you time to get your troops over to help defend. Or it just slows down in advance. Even if you can't defend it, you can't hold it, okay? But let them take that much longer so you have more time to prepare from your other territories, right? So, yeah, those are the 4. And, you know what, this video is already running a little long. Okay, I guess I'm going to cut it here. I think on the next one I'll do, I'll cover the other commands all in one. I'll be covering the honor commendation, because we need to get to this. That's really important. I think I might group it together with officers, I don't know. But yeah, that's policies. It's the most important thing. It's the first thing you need to look at. I mean, I have a video, the very first video, covering about what's the first 2 things that you need to do in this game. Go to a point, substitute, and dominion. Okay, what's the next thing that you have to do? Is go to council and check your policies. That's the very next thing you need to do. Is start getting, if you don't have system reform, get system reform. And then figure out where you want to go from there, depending on your situation. Do you want to get system reform 2? Defense infrastructure, bodyguard formation. These are the 4 that I'd look at right away. Don't bother leveling up. Leveling up is going to be, you know, get them first and then level them up later, you know, if at all. Leveling up is when you're much stronger, because the cost is way higher. Some of these costs like get exponentially higher because the game is saying, okay, don't upgrade these until you're a middle-sized force. Don't upgrade these until you have 7, 8 castles. But the level 1s, they want you to get these right away. That's why they're so cheap. That's also why the term for the first one is so long. It's just to kind of slow you down a little bit, so you don't take off. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video, guys. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more of these videos. We still got a lot to go. We got a lot to talk about. I'm going to be starting a playthrough pretty soon. If anybody has any suggestions for the playthrough, let me know. And yeah, till the next one, guys. Take it easy.